Good morning, good morning, good morning. See if anybody comes in here. Stretch Nuts, what's up? Stu, how's it going? Mike? John? Larry Fisher, John McCulloch. TJ Jones. Good morning, Cameron. Gear Grabber. Haven't heard or seen from you in a minute. Where you been hiding at? Miller Driver, what's up? McGee Films, Trucker Steve, Sun Chaser, Trucker Steve and PA, sorry. You can't just say Trucker Steve because you got Trucker Steve out there on YouTube land. One of the originators of the YouTube trucking world. Winter Brew is good. At home getting truck fixed. Battleborn, good morning. The Machine, hey, what's up? Your last video, what was your last video? I saw the Halloween one. Did you do one after that? Shadow Wolf, what's up? Coffee, coffee, coffee. So, this is just a short little off-road. No, I missed that. I'll have to check it out. Just chilling at home, heading to yard in Oklahoma City, and then off to Dallas. Stretch Nuts, I will be right behind you. I have to be in Fort Worth tomorrow. So, I'll probably shut down there somewhere in Oklahoma. David Riverman, what's up? Yukon, how's it going, sir? So let's talk about November 5th. If you guys follow any kind of YouTube or Facebook, we were supposed to be in the midst of a civil war right now. And granted, I did have my guard up as I went through St. Louis because, you know, St. Louis is known for all the rioting. Cameron says I'm going to start a GoFundMe to get the money to put down on the truck. Heading to East Coast, says Shadow Wolf. It's invisible. Stretch Nuts. Steve, have you ever watched a guy called Trucker 2 Times? Yes. I used to watch him. Be in Paris, Texas Monday, says McGee Films. Safe from Antifa. Right, Yukon. I mentioned this to a couple of people I was talking to. And, you know, if you don't know what I'm talking about, there was supposed to be some kind of uprising. And all it was, just a few protests in a couple of cities, some anti-Trump rallies, which isn't anything new. But certain media outlets were making it sound like it was going to be a civil war. Okay? And remember back in September when I did the September 24th video because the world was supposed to end on September 23rd? See, here's the thing, guys. It was told to me that maybe outside countries were going to help with the revolution. And here's the thing. We are not free in this country. 9/11 took away a lot of the freedoms that we once possessed, both in business and in security and in privacy, especially in privacy. You guys remember the scene in Batman, the Christian Bale Batman, where he's got like this big, huge wall. It had all the cell phone conversations that were going on. That is a real thing. I mean, not that particular wall, and Batman's not real. But think about this. If any kind of group within the country has to communicate with an outside country, the government's going to hear that. And if you want to organize a huge group, even for something that's not, that's harmless, it takes a lot of communication. And all that communication is monitored. They've told you. You say keywords on your phone, and boom, you're on a certain filter. Robert Kaufman, gonna get flagged. But there are also media types and people to gain money. Like, for example, I was going through YouTube on November 4th thing, and every single channel that talked about the fears of what was going to happen on November 4th had a Patreon. They had monetization. They had, it's equivalent to these big televangelists that are wearing gold chains wanting money. It was, if you're, and they make it look like they want to inform you, but what they want to do is they want to sell advertising. They want to sell products out of fear. Like, isn't like Pat Robertson, they've got those, is it Pat Robertson that's got those buckets? It's supposed to be like a certain amount of days of food in a 5-gallon bucket to prepare for the end of the world. There are, if you go to a magazine rack, there are magazine racks, dedicated to gun, Steve Burgers. Tell Steve Burgers stop texting me. And a lot of these gun magazines, they want to like make it seem like the end of the world is here. Now, I'm not anti-gun by no means. I need to own more guns, if anything. However, when everybody was saying that Obama was going to take the guns, guess what happened to gun sales? Gun sales went up. I believe in having a backup plan, a prepare plan, a plan if things go south, that kind of thing. But to spread fear is, just for money, that's kind of a BS thing for me. So whenever someone at the end of the world, there's a revolution, or this is going to happen at midnight, that kind of thing, I don't buy into that, because you can't have organized groups without communication, and the government has got an iron fist on all of our communication. Think about your phone. All you have to do is use the terms "OK Google" if you have an Android phone, and guess what? It lights up, right? So it's always listening. If you're on the phone talking about a certain thing, like my wife was talking to someone about Tom Petty after he died, and all of a sudden her YouTube feed was filled with nothing but Tom Petty stuff. Not because of his death, but because this was like a week later, 2 weeks later. So it wasn't like just trending stuff. It was because she specifically said, "I wish I could find more Tom Petty," or something like that. Alexa, that's another thing. It's always listening to you. And that technology is in the government's hands. So even if you want to do a revolution, even if you want to have a civil war, it's not going to happen. It's going to get squashed. That and the typical Antifa people are people that can't even organize their own lives. Yukon says it was proven that CIA had access to Alexa. Exactly. Did you know that there was a Super Bowl, I think a few years ago, where they were testing this technology, face recognition technology, when it first came out? And they were literally scanning the entire crowd at the Super Bowl for felons, for wanted people. And that technology is everywhere. I mean, your phone has it. If you download the right app, you're going to have face recognition technology. Think about Facebook. You take a picture of someone famous, or not even someone famous, just someone in your friends list. It'll tag them like, hey, do you want to tag this photo of so-and-so? So it was amazing to me, all the fear-mongering that was occurring. Alex Jones is notorious for that. There was a video where Alex Jones was in tears, like about a year ago. He's like, oh my God, this is an emergency situation. Oh man, I can't believe this. And he starts crying, and he's like, all the rich people, all the elite have said that they're packing their bags and they're going to this faraway place to prepare for the end of the world. They're on their planes right now. And, kind of like a 2012 scenario, like the movie 2012 with John Cusack. And yeah, a year later, we're still here. How does anybody take Alex Jones seriously? I mean, he does bring up some good points on a lot of stuff, but it's weird fanatical stuff that he comes up with after that. It makes him unbelievable. Now, this might blow your mind. If you guys remember, and I've talked about this before, there was a lady that spilled hot coffee on herself from McDonald's, and that created this incredibly famous lawsuit. And and the McDonald's Corporation and the other corporations, for fear of all these different lawsuits, put it out there to make it look like it was a stupid lawsuit. But the reality of that lawsuit was that the lady had injured herself. It wasn't even the person that bought the coffee. There's a story there that it's not quite like, oh my God, I didn't know it was hot, and burned herself. It wasn't like that at all. And McDonald's had to pay, and then they had to change the way they make their coffee. But they put out this movement to make people believe that if you do a lawsuit like this, you're going to get ridiculed. If you do any kind of lawsuits against corporations, you're going to look like an idiot. You're going to look stupid. So a lot of these fear-mongering places are actually corporations wanting to, feed into that so they can make more money. How do you sell security? You make people afraid that people are going to break into your house. So Stretchnut says Alex Jones and Obama mom ran prostitution ring. Okay, let's go back here. Okay, we're arguing about Batman. Louder with Crowder is good too. What's up, everyone? Hey, Gary. Yes, Louder is funny. This town needs an enema. Says Ron. No, Yukon said that. McGee Films. Okay. They profit in fear. Yes, Larry Fisher. And they all live in mansions. Right. Talk about the religious. Michael Keaton's Batman was Yukon's favorite. Big Rich says, I drank an entire fifth of Jack last night and here I am, champ. Plus Prince did the soundtrack. Win. Fear you have control, Cameron. Yeah, exactly. That's why I like my job. I just stay in Oklahoma and Texas. Stay out of, you might say, the troubled spots. Yeah, unless you go to Dallas, stretch nuts. Dallas is one of those places where things get ugly pretty quickly. Tom Petty isn't dead. He just joined Elvis in hiding. Right. This year end at midnight, December 31st, by my new calendar, says Sean McCulloch. Machine says, Dan the Sandman called me. I told him I was watching you and you would have to call him later. Face recognition tech has been around since the late 80s, says Yukon. TSA is going to hack our ELDs? ? Robert Kaufman, no. The ELD is a way to track where we're at. I mean, like, for example, well, my Qualcomm's on, but it'll say 4.2 miles northwest of Topeka or whatever. But your cell phone already does that. I remember getting that discussion with an old old timer at the truck stop counter, and he goes, "Man, I got me a flip phone." I said, "Hey, what's on the back of that flip phone?" You know, because he was dogging truck companies that had Qualcomm and all that stuff. And on the back of the phone, what did it say, people? It said Qualcomm on it. I said, there you go. You get in an accident, the right lawyer is going to be able to snag that phone from you. Stretchnut says, yep, face recognition was developed in casinos in Vegas. Hack your ELDs, I've heard it all now. Yeah, well, what are they going to hack into? What are they going to do? Fix your hours? Philip Paul says Alex Jones is an ass clown. Laying in bed, believe and achieve. Corporations will publicize a lawsuit they know they can't win to make money. It pays for the suit, right? I can look stupid as long as they stuff my pockets with green. Believe and achieve. What are your thoughts on self-driving trucks? It ain't going to happen for a while. At the very most, within 10 years, we're going to have a situation where, and there's already a video about it, where you'll be able to put the vehicle in autopilot mode, for lack of a better term, on long stretches of straight good highway. And there was a guy that had one of those Tesla cars that got in a major accident and died, and it killed him, killed the truck driver. And it was determined that he was using the autopilot feature at the wrong time. You're still going to have a person in the truck, whether they're actually got their foot on the gas and on the steering wheel. You know, that's going to be the difference. Because they're still going to have to maneuver in big cities. They're still going to have to maneuver at the yards, at the docks, at the receivers. So trucks will be more automatic, but it's not going to replace the driver for years to come. You know, everybody's thinking about like that movie iRobot. You know, it's going to be like that. It's not going to be like that. Not for the next 10 years. You know, and there's videos of Google cars going off the road or crashing into construction zones because they can't quite see the lines. So they're coming. I mean, yeah, we're almost, you know what, we're almost to 2018. But automated cars, you know, think about the technology with the collision mitigation system. You know, the littlest thing sets it off. And you know, how long before, you know, like for example, Amazon wants to use drones to deliver goods. Well, all you got to do is throw something at it, thing falls, and you grab the package. So, you know, there's a lot of good things in theory, be kind of nice, but we're not losing our jobs to anything. And you know what's funny? Here's an interesting thing. So at the Dallas Truck Show, Uber Freight had Auto there, right? But it wasn't the Auto Truck. It was just Auto Truck LLC. It was Uber's part of the trucking fleet. And we asked them, I said, is this Auto? And they said, no, this is the truck that actually delivers freight. So all the autonomous truck thing is a way to get investors to spend lots of money so people can have jobs developing this technology, which you can perfect it all you want. But construction zones, traffic, and fraud, and people like purposely running these things off the road, you know, they haven't thought all the details yet. So, Dan, what's up? You just started. Dan Isaac says, hello, Snore Alert. I just started the IC board. Well, welcome, Dan. It's going to take you a minute. Show some patience and, you know, have some backup money for the slow weeks and you'll be all right. They already have self-operating bulldozers. Yeah, but it still takes someone there Taxes. Does anybody pay their taxes weekly as an owner-operator? You could save weekly, Motor T, but as far as paying, no. Harold, what's up? Captain Jim, self-drivers won't happen, but platooning will. Cameron says, can I put the GoFundMe link on your live feed? Yeah, Cameron, the link won't pop up because I don't allow, the settings on YouTube won't allow links in the comments unless I do it. Here's the problem I have with that, Cameron, okay? Little guy trucker has got a lot of people that hate him because he did a GoFundMe, or no, he didn't do a GoFundMe. Little Dog set up the GoFundMe, or donations, to help Matt out because he was down because his truck was down, okay? A lot of people are criticizing YouTube truckers for begging for money. And that's left a sour taste in everybody's mouth. People that donated to Matt, people that donated to, that kind of thing. There's another well, he's not really a YouTuber, but there's another person that's out there. His name's Vern Gill, who tried to do a GoFundMe to have people pay for a down payment for his truck, and he got ridiculed tremendously. So I don't know if you will want to go down that road, because a lot of drivers will not buy into that. And, as far as I'm concerned, you can do whatever you want. However, you probably won't get the results that you're looking for. And if you go to the right places, you can get a truck with very little or no money down. It can happen. So if you don't have the money for a down payment to get a truck, then you're not ready to be an owner-operator. So, that's the harsh reality, because you have to have some money or a line of credit to begin your business. And a lot of these big companies like Schneider and Prime and KLM, they'll get you into a truck with no money down, but then, you end up working for them. So there are other ways to get a truck without using GoFundMe. They're out there. And it will... Man, just grind those gears there, dude. So that's my thoughts on that, Cameron. Ryan says, any driver who's had a CMS freak out on them and slam on the brakes when approaching an overpass should be terrified of what can happen with a glitch in an automated truck. Exactly, Ryan. Dan, what's up? Harmon, how's it going? You can pay taxes quarterly. Yeah, but I don't pay quarterly. I just take the penalty, because if I paid quarterly, they would want like $2,500 a quarter, and I ain't doing that. They will build cross-country lanes just for self-driving trucks as a first step, like HOV lanes. Now, Robert Kaufman, I could see that, and that would be good. But still, there ain't going to be enough to replace our jobs. Captain Jim got a CDL. Congratulations. Daniel Nottingham, what's up? Ron says, everyone always wanting a handout. Where did you get your truck, Snorlord? My first truck, Sun Chaser, I got from Aero Trucks. My black Peterbilt. I got it for $2,000 down. And I had a line of credit to help pay for repairs before I, could save up the money. I've recently talked to a couple of guys that are thinking about becoming owner-operators or ICs over here at Schneider, and when they tell me that they got so much money in the bank, I'm like, you're doing better than I did. That's the way to do it. Have some money in the bank for the rainy days, for the weeks that loads don't go right, for breakdowns, downtime, hotel rooms. And like right now, if this truck was to catch fire and was completely totaled, I've got enough money in the bank to pay for, several months of home expenses. If it has a major breakdown like what I went through last year, I got enough money to pay for it up to a certain point. Now, the current truck I've got now, I bought at MHC Kenworth. They're in Joplin, Missouri. The sales guy I used, his name was Ron, and he retired about 2 weeks after my sale. He was there for 26 years. Excellent individual. He did not BS me. He did not sugarcoat anything. And he did what I needed him to do. And he even bought me lunch. So, and I didn't have to have any money down for this truck because I had my trade-in. So, and he told me that in 2 years, I could probably trade this in for a brand new truck with no money down. Yes, Cameron, only $2,000. Cameron, I'll tell you this too. Freightliner, when I first started looking to be an owner-operator, I talked to Freightliner, and with the credit score that I had, they were ready to give me a truck no money down. Now, it would have been some ridiculous payment for 5 years or 6 years. And, but you get into a truck. See, it's... You got to have some money before you start. That's the unfortunate reality. Either that or a line of credit. But then a line of credit's a very, very slippery slope, because if you max out that credit card and you still can't pay your bills, that's a problem. And that's what a lot of owner-operators do. I could have easily fell in that trap. Cameron says, I have the money but wanted to keep most of what I have. That's hard to find. Yeah, I get it, man. I get it, Cameron. But my suggestion is go to... Most places are going to want 10 to 15% down. So if you have to work a little bit more to save up a little bit more, that's the way to go. But what I did is I went to Arrow as a first-time buyer, and they shopped around to like 5 different banks. And that's how they found me the good deal that I had as far as no money down, or $2,000 down. Russ says, that's a great quality picture using the GoPro. No, I don't think you can do live feeds from the GoPro, Russ. Sun Chaser, I'm currently dealing with MHC in Kansas City, Missouri. That's where my truck was actually originated from. I went on the website and I found this particular truck, and it was in Olathe, actually. Now, Sun Chaser, the thing with MHC Kenworth, and I know that somebody told me, and maybe it was you, somebody told me that there was one MHC Kenworth that was telling them that they had all these trucks from Stevens Transport. They only go 60 miles an hour, and they didn't have a way to turn them up. But they can't turn them up because that's how they are able to advertise that they get 8 miles to the gallon, and that seemed kind of BS to me. MHC Kenworth is like anybody else. I've heard good and I've heard bad, MHC Kenworth in Springfield I've dealt with a little bit, and it's hard to get in for repairs. MHC in Joplin, right now they're overwhelmed with CFI trucks that have been turned in, and because CFI just renewed their fleet, but they seem to treat me all right. Google reviews is a very, very good tool. Somebody that I won't mention did a Google review of a dealership that he purchased his truck at and was not happy with the results, and put it on Google. And then if you read the other reviews, there are other people that had similar things. So, but most of the truck buying you do nowadays is online. You find the truck that fits your needs, and then usually gets shipped to wherever you're at. Is 80% gross revenue a good deal, says Ron? Yes, I believe it is. Landstar pays $65 unless you got your own trailer, then they pay $72. Traveloco pays $88 if you got your own tractor and trailer, and I believe it's $80 if you have one of their trucks. I could be wrong on that, but I think it's a lower percentage if you're using one of their leased trucks. Let's see. Sunchaser, so far everything is good. Got a 2012 T660, should be taking delivery in a week or so. Excellent. Congratulations, Sunchaser. That's a good deal. Right now, MHC Kenworth is flooded with a bunch of T680s and 660s from CFI. See, here's the thing. When a big company like Prime, Schneider, well, not Schneider because they sell their own trucks, but big companies like Prime or Werner, Swift, CFI, whenever they change their fleets over, then the used truck gets flooded. The used truck market gets flooded with all their trucks. And if you pick a company that where they, you know that they maintain their units well, then that helps too. CFI, I don't know anything about their shop, but I know that Prime takes care of their trucks, and that's why I had no issues buying an X-Prime truck. Not only that, but since Prime is out of Springfield, where I live, all the records were local for the truck, unless they had a PM done, somewhere on the road or whatever. But anything that they did through MHC Kenworth, I had full access to the records. So I know the entire history of this truck, what was bought, what was broken, what was a problem, what wasn't a problem. I have all that, and it's all on my phone in a PDF file. So here I am trying to do a non-trucking video, and you guys made it turn into trucking. I see how you are. But that's fine. That's why I'm here. Actually, I'm just here because I like attention. And if I talk about trucking, that's a bonus. So be it. Why is it that humans want to see the end of the world so quickly? Why is it that we're afraid of all these crisis events happening, but then when something really happens, then it becomes a different thing? That's all right, Sunchaser. This one is from an owner-operator. Oh, awesome. Good deal, Sunchaser. See, that's the thing. If you own a truck right now, okay, and I highly recommend this. If you can show up at a dealership to trade it in, or you need to sell the truck, like if somebody wants to buy this truck, I can hand them every single paperwork of every single thing that I've done on this truck. And that adds value because you can see everything that the truck has gone through. Like I know that the driveline of this truck was replaced at one time, so I don't know what Mr. or Mrs. Prime did. I know that there was a couple of panels that were replaced because of a dog, and there's actually dog hair embedded between the passenger window and the this part, armrest. Brain fart. And every now and then I get a whiff of dog on a hot summer day. Not like bad urine, but just like a wet dog kind of smell every now and then. So, and maybe it's pretty strong. I'm just so used to it. Maybe I just need to get a dog. So it was like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that's just what it is. But having that history of the truck helped me make a better decision on getting a truck. Now the Peterbilt, not so much. Cameron says, thanks for the help. you do for us truck drivers. Well, you're welcome, Cameron. Ron wants to see the zombie apocalypse happen. You know, I've been on this Walking Dead binge, I guess. That's what I do. I cook myself dinner and I watch The Walking Dead on Netflix. And it's the second time I've been through the series. And I think the appeal to a zombie apocalypse is that you get to hurt people and not feel bad about it. And it kind of, you know, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I will say this. If you go on YouTube and type in zombie apocalypse versus Black Friday shopping, that'll open your eyes to a lot of things. Zombies are here. Adam Gallagher, good morning, sir. Ron says he won't buy a truck that had a dog or a cat in it. Oh, Battleborn, you asked me that before. What do you know of Jim Palmer Trucking? Okay. All right, Battleborn. Sorry I didn't get to your question. You asked me that on one of my other videos, and I apologize. Okay, so Jim Palmer is out of Montana. Allie Knight was promoting them because she was a recruiter for them or something of that nature. I didn't follow her. And Jim Palmer joined up with Will-Trans out of Springfield, Missouri. Now, Will-Trans has been labeled as Prime Junior. So what happens is Jim Palmer, Will-Trans, and Prime are all in bed together. Okay? The Jim Palmer trucks, it's a separate company, but there's some kind of relationship with Prime. You're going to be hauling Prime's freight, and I don't know anything about them as far as company driving. I know that Will-Trans is, in the past, from the drivers that I've spoken to locally, that their lease agreement is a little different than Prime's, and it's a little bit, but they follow the same model. In other words, nickel and dime you, spend a lot of money. And so that's all I know about them. But Will-Trans, you know, you got to look up Will-Trans, you got to look up Jim Palmer, and look up Prime. And they're all kind of in the same group. And they all pull Prime trailers. So that's all I know about them. And that's why I'm glad you asked that here, because that was going to be a pain in the butt to type out. Dan says, I've only had a Cascadia as a company driver. I'm comfortable with them. Would you still recommend Peterbilt over them, or is it more to each person what they prefer? Dan, that's... Each manufacturer has their advantages and disadvantages, okay? Freightliner is a successful company for a reason. They have quality trucks, okay? The thing with Freightliner is that it's easier to find parts. Labor is usually easier to find. You know, like TAs and Petros, I think, are certified Freightliner places. Each manufacturer has issues with their trucks. And when you buy a truck, new or used, it's luck of the draw. So you got to go by whoever has the best warranty and whoever has the best shops in your area. If you live in an area where the Freightliner shop has a hugely bad reputation, then know that if you buy a Freightliner and you don't want to take it there, then you might have to do all your repairs or all your maintenance when you're out of town or whatever. The problem with Peterbilt and Kenworth is that if you have a PACCAR engine, you have to take it to the dealerships. There's no taking it to the TA for well, I wouldn't take it to TA anyways, but the shops are less common than, say, if you had a Peterbilt or Kenworth with a Cummins. Mm-hmm. If you have a Cummins, you go to a Cummins shop. And so with Freightliner, it's a lot more common, a lot easier to find repairs. and parts in 24-hour places. That's the other thing, is the dealership near your house 24 hours. You know, that's something else you got to take. But it's all personal preference and comfort. But most, like PACCAR, you have to take to the dealership, whereas Freightliner or Cummins, you can take to anybody that's certified. Like, you can have a Volvo dealership that's Cummins certified. If you have a Cummins, you can take your truck there. So, how much battery power I got? I got 15%. Hold on, guys, while I plug this in. I should be working. There we go. See if we, yep, we're charging. Good deal. So Dan, it's just all what you prefer. Sun Chaser is a season or two behind on Walking Dead. Yeah, I'm not. My DVR screwed up, so I've missed a couple episodes for the current season, and I think Netflix just caught up to everything but this season, and I'm caught up there. So, Pale Riders is confirming what I've said about Jim Palmer. Hey Butch, what's up? My favorite truck is the one that makes me the most money. Anyone else see the new Mac? No, I haven't seen the new Mac yet. I've been told, Edward says, I've been told PACCAR is holding up better than Cummins, but that's just what I'm hearing. Don't know if that includes the new X15. I asked the dealer when I was looking at new trucks, because I was very interested in that new X15 Cummins engine. And I said, what is the major difference between Cummins and PACCAR? And he said that there's very little difference other than where you can get them worked on. That's what he said. And I tend to believe that. PACCAR is dealing with a lot of bad rep from their original engines. But see, it comes down to personal preference. It's kind of like the old Ford versus Chevy thing. I've had bad Fords, I've had bad Chevys. You know, I don't like one manufacturer over the other. If this truck would have had a Cummins in it, I would have bought it, no problem. The only engines I would avoid would be the MaxxForce, which I believe they're called Navistar now. Pale Rider TV says the new Mac is as ugly as the old Mac. Shots fired. LOL. Is your truck PACCAR? Was the Pete? This one is PACCAR, but the Peterbilt was Cummins. So, Pale Rider says Mac equals Volvo. You know, it's funny. I think I've mentioned this before, but there was an argument going on the CB radio, right? And this one old school guy, he was like, man, the only real trucks is Kenworth and Peterbilt and Mack. Them Volvos are pieces of crap. Them Freightliners are pieces of crap. You know, all you need is Peterbilt, Kenworth, and a Mack. And then I get on the radio, it's like, did you know that Mack is built by Volvo? You go to hell, you son of a murder. I think I ruined his day. And, you know, I know people that will tell you that the truck I'm driving is the biggest piece of crap. You know, you just have to do your research, Dan, on what trucks have what issues. Like right now, the T680s have an issue with the airlines that go into the transmissions tend to go bad after a while. They have electronic wiring issues. Almost all the trucks have wiring issues. All of them. There was a couple of software issues in the maintenance records of this truck, software updates, and you know, you've got basically computers in these things, and that computer can go bad. Now, if you have a modern truck, Peterbilt or Kenworth, there's a little tiny black knob underneath your mirror, and that that almost controls the whole truck. It senses everything. You know, if you buy that new Cummins engine, it's programmed to like learn how you drive so it can get you most fuel efficiency. You know, the old days of shade tree in a truck and putting a turbo in for less than $1,000 are gone. Wow, there's almost an accident right in front of me. That's the problem with these slanted parking spots, is that you can't see going that way. Well, you can see with your spot mirror, but I'm pointing at it like you guys can see. I'm just an idiot like that. I bet if I bought you one, you would drive it. Yeah, the best truck's the paid-off truck, guys. That's the best truck. Air Vaquero, do you have any warranty with yours? I did. I still do on the driveline and transmission. However, my factory warranty on the engine and after treatment was up in August. So I had a good from February to August to not worry about major repairs. And that's what you want to, if you buy used, try to get some kind of warranty or get remaining, you know, I think that the best way to go is to buy a used truck if you can't buy new, one that has a lot of warranty left, maybe a year's worth, because that way you're not worried about any $10,000-$15,000 repairs that are going to come down the line. And that's what I was able to do. And you know, but now I'm pretty much in the same boat as I was in my Peterbilt, except I got money in the bank because I haven't had any major issues, knock on wood. So, and then as far as third-party warranties, the truck has to pass a vigorous test and inspection, and it's still playing with fire. So you know, here's the thing: I can get an extended warranty for $7,000. However, that only lasts 2 years. Okay, so if I end up using it one time for, say, a turbo that's like 10 grand, then yeah, I've saved money. I've saved 3 grand. Okay. But if I never use it, that 7 grand would be better in my bank account making interest, and then I can take repairs out of that. Ron says, well, Snarlord, you have a great day. You got to go cut down some trees. Be safe. Adam says, just don't make your truck a money pit, Steve. Consider unloading it on the first major issue. Well, so that's the other trick. That's the other thing, Adam, is you don't see, like, I actually considered getting a Snyder Finance truck when the Peterbilt was nickel and diming me to death. And I realized after 3 years that I would be upside down in that truck. I have a friend that worked for a major carrier that had a lease, and it's not Snyder, but it was another company. And after 3 years, he was still upside down on his truck, and he couldn't get it refinanced because he wanted to refinance it and take it somewhere else. And he couldn't do that because he was upside down in the truck. In other words, he owed more than it was worth. And whatever truck you buy, new or used, you're going to look at least 2 or 3 years before you're not upside down in it anymore. So you want to pick a truck that's not going to leave you upside down. You know, look at how many miles might be on it at the end of your 5 years. You know, if it's got over 1 million miles, know that you'll probably be getting another truck soon after you pay it off. Unless you can do all the work yourself. Because at a certain point, like the Peterbilt, and what made me consider Snyder Finance for a minute was that when I added up my truck payment and all the stuff that I've done to the Peterbilt, added it all up together, it came up as much as I was paying, just as much as the Snyder Finance guy. However, I was not comfortable. The truck still had issues. So this person that also tried to leave his carrier or get his truck refinanced, he wasn't able to trade it in for one of the carrier's new trucks because he still owed too much on it. Edward Hall says, it looks to me like the trucks depreciate way more by mileage than age. That is correct. Golden Bat Cave. Butch, how many miles did your T680 have when you got it? It had 3... I've got it written down. Doo-doo. Got it written down somewhere. Well, I thought I did. I believe it had about 380. Oh, there it is. Oh, no, that's the Peterbilt. I had about 380,000 on it when I got it. So... and now it's got 440. Edward Hall says, but that dealer price is not sure if they take 5K or more. If you can get financing separately and get a truck off an individual with all the records, that's a good way to go. However, finding a newer truck that's like that is difficult. Like, I might be able to sell this truck for about what I owe if I had to sell it today. Because there's been no major issues. There's no major body damage, knock on wood. The truck is just as good as when I bought it, if not a little bit better on a few things. What year do you not want to buy because of problems? The original Packars had issues, but it's a roll of dice. Buying a truck is a roll of the dice. That's all there is to it. You know, if you have a good mechanic at home and you don't want to go to California, then you can buy yourself an old truck for 15 grand. And, but then you'll be limited on who you can sign it on with. Anything 2007 and above is going to have the new emissions. And that's where a lot of problems lie in the trucks. And that's where it can get expensive. Just clean out the DPF filter on a truck is like $1,500. So... yeah, stretch nuts. I've already talked about MaxxForce. Here's the problem with MaxxForce. Okay, here's what happened with MaxxForce. When the new DPF stuff started coming out, Cummins was working on the technology. Okay, they had engineers, they had money in the right places, they were working on the right technology to do that. Caterpillar said, we're out. We're done. We're only going to do off-road vehicles, and we're going to specialize in what they call glider kits. Basically, you're buying a refurbished engine, and it's not California compliant at all. Okay. Now, International said, you know what? We're going to call BS on this technology, and they went and took all the other companies to court to prove that this was all BS. So while International was focusing on this lawsuit, they were not engineering anything. So when they saw that they were going to lose this battle of joining in with the rest of the guys of Detroit and Cummins and Volvo, they were like, crap, we need to come up with something. So they rushed their engineers, and there was absolutely no testing whatsoever of these new engines, these new MaxxForce engines. And they knowingly put a bad product that was not tested out there, and they lost a huge lawsuit. And not only that, but at one time, everybody was buying ProStars because they were cheaper, but they were still getting the same fuel mileage. And then all of a sudden, their business went down. I delivered racks to a Springfield, Ohio plant, and they told me about the old glory days of that place. Pale Rider can probably attest, can probably talk about that too. So, once people started suing MaxxForce for all their BS, then they lost a lot of money. So the new LTs are supposedly improved, and then they came up with these fixes from the MaxxForce. But still, I mean, like, you can buy a 2015, 2016 MaxxForce truck ProStar for like 30 grand with a 7-year anything breaks warranty on it, because they know that these trucks are junk. They know they have no resale value. And so that's the history of the MaxxForce thing. Edward says 2012 was the DEF issue, has been told not to idle more than 30%. That's the other thing I'll bring up. If you have a new truck, 2012 and newer, you can't idle them. 10-hour break here and there, and that's fine. But, to idle it for 34 or 24, 34 hours and then only going 100 miles down the road, that kills them. And when I bought my truck, I told him that I was worried about the emission stuff. He goes, well, you need to buy an APU because that's what you have to do. So whatever truck you get, you want a good APU. And there's only one good APU. And it's not a Thermo King. Stephen Miller says the MaxxForce engineers told the management the engine wasn't any good. Yep. Air Vaquero says the Diamond renewed MaxxForce trucks, good prices with warranty. Yeah. How's the new X15 engines? I have no idea, Stretch Nuts. I know I saw a display at GATS. They look impressive. They've got videos. Type in Cummins X15 and you'll find YouTube videos about it. Dan says I seen a truck pulling 3 new internationals for Schneider. Haven't actually seen one on the road yet. Not sure what account got them. I've seen 5, and 3 of them are at Edwardsville. They're the new LTs. They got Cummins engines in them, and the reason being why they bought them is because Schneider is trying to get away from the Kenworths. And it was kind of like a big FU to Kenworth saying, hey, we can go elsewhere. So whenever you see a big company switch manufacturers, that's their way of trying to, use it as a bargaining chip to try to get prices down. Or if a company is unhappy with the warranty from Kenworth, they'll say, well, we just bought 50 new Peterbilts because you suck. And then you wheel and deal. They're bargaining chips. But I know that this company here, on my hat, I was talking to him, they bought a batch of the new LTs because they're showing the same performance in fuel efficiency as the 680s, but they're $10,000 a piece less. So you take a big company that's buying, 50 of them, that's a lot of money to be saving at $10,000 a piece. So a lot of times when you see a company change manufacturers is because they're either, they're not happy with the results, or they can find something cheaper. It's all about what's cheaper. And the 680s were getting good fuel efficiency, but they were not cost effective with Schneider's maintenance program, because you have to have a certain kind of software for these trucks. And like the shop that I use in Springfield, that did all my truck work on the Peterbilt, I can't take any engine work to them because they don't have the software nor the knowledge to work on PACCAR. So I'm kind of screwed there. So, and that's kind of, I think, what Schneider's was looking at. But I've seen those X15s, or those new LTs, and they are trying them for certain accounts. So it's kind of a wait and see how they do right now. Hey Thor, what's up? John in Green Bay said, Ryan Clark says, John in Green Bay said that the KW is too hard to get parts for. That's what I have heard as well. So, but anyways, guys, the original point of this video was to say the world didn't end. We didn't go into a civil war. The anti-TIFO is just another media fear-mongering ploy, and for way to you to buy, stuff to prepare for the end of the world. It's good to be aware. It's good to be prepared, but it's not healthy to be fanatic about it. Nothing ever happened. We live in an illusion of freedom. There's never, the government's in place to where we're never going to be able to do an uprising. So just got to play by the rules. That's the world we live in today. And the sooner people accept that, maybe they won't be angry. So, stretching us, love my Freightliner going 75 miles per hour on Oklahoma roads, the smoothest ride you can have. I've got a front end issue. I think I'm going to replace the shocks on my truck, on my front. I've replaced the ones in the rear, but I've got some kind of vibration going on up there. If radical Islam hasn't ended the world yet, Antifa won't be able to do it either. Do you have to have an accident avoidance with Schneider IC? I think they did away with the collision mitigation systems as far as like requirements to sign on, but they will probably re-implement it like somewhere down the road. Somebody else could probably answer that better than me. I know that when I bought this truck, they told me I had to have it. Stephen Miller says, Cummins Insight software is excellent. Plug it in yourself. Anthony, yes, you are late. So again, the world did not end. There was a few protests in a few cities, but none of them ever became violent. And think about any violence, man. The government's going to come in and squash it. So, guys, I got to get to work, man. So, you take it easy. Out of here.